I do not want this filter on my face. Hey, Dave. Um, let's get our people in the room. Happy Tuesday. It's another one. Everyone. Hi,
Hi.
Iliana. And hey there, Christian.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Well, it's Tuesday.
Made
A
it.
blistering one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going to. Okay, how you guys doing today?
Good. Happy
You seem so
to
energetic.
listen. We are, it's just really cold. Um, just really cold, guys. We are in New York. It's freezing.
Yeah. Um, well, everyone, I want to welcome you guys. This is Outside with VRG. Um, I'm Cynthia Peacock, founder of Virtuoso Realty Group. We're here in Harlem, East Harlem, at our office. And who are you guys?
I'm Iliana, virtual real estate specialist, lover of food, and lover of people and building relationships.
You like people.
Uh, yeah, I'm Christian Cole, commercial real estate specialist, and I rock with the food for sure in New York City.
You know what? This is a little off topic for what we were going to start with, but like, I think we're all foodies here, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
The one thing we do is like food, and some of us are pickier than others.
Yeah.
We won't say who.
Yeah,
Exactly.
who y'all talking about?
This guy right there, the guy on the call. Um, well, happy Tuesday. We are officially in a new administration as of yesterday. Um, we all have opinions about that. And I think the one thing is that I took away from just everything I've been reading, everything I've been seeing, is that regardless, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, I've been a business owner for a long time, and I'm a believer that everything you do or everything you want to achieve, you can if you are going to put the time, energy, and the resources into it. It may not happen overnight. It may not happen, in a reasonable time that you believe it should, but I think it'll happen. But I think what's kind of happening now is as we've transitioned out of, obviously 50 years ago, industries look different, businesses look different, businesses started in a different way. There was so much more of a barrier to entry into getting into business, starting a business, growing a business. And now it's really accessible. What do you think are the things that are really making businesses stand out these days, as opposed to, what's the difference between a Zuckerberg and, the other person, or, any other person who's starting their own platform? What are your thoughts about what makes people stand out these days?
Well, other than the resources they have and the data, um, it's one, marketing, but two, how you market to the demographics. I once met this guy who gave me really good advice on the market. He said that if you have to understand your clients, but not only understand your clients, you have to understand your clients' habits and then target the habits of those clients. So the difference between like a Zuckerberg and a small firm is just the access of data that they have. And at the end of the day, they have more data to market to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think that the the main thing to stand out or be successful in any industry, no matter what, is to know who the best buyer or consumer or client for your good, service, or product is, and then once you outline who is the best person that can get the best and highest use of this thing, how do I go and get in front of them? How do I show myself to them? How do I market? How do I reach them directly? How do I not waste time um, dealing with trying to convert people into believers? How do I go to where the person is who already believes or already needs this thing? They don't need convincing, they just need to know about it. And then once you find out that person, so like a profile of who your buyer is, who your perfect consumer or customer is, then how do I get right in front of them? So, I mean, Iliana touched on it. It's like data. Like, I need to know where this person is, what they like to do, what their interests are, and then figure out the best media platform or outreach like method to go directly to them.
I mean, I 1,000% agree. So obviously this morning I was talking to the team about, the one thing I took from last night as I'm watching and I'm looking at all these executives and CEOs who were at the inauguration in support of the new administration was that every person that I clocked that was on that stage, regardless of the industry that they were in, a lot of their visibility, their success was all tied to some sort of ownership of data, control of data, access of data, using data in unique and innovative ways. And I believe that's the separator. That's going to be the big separator in the next 5 to 10 years, right? Of what is it? How do you acquire more data in-house? Obviously, we're a commercial real estate company. We utilize our own systems to control, organize, and have both the front ends of our listings and our promotion to clients for clients, and then we have our back end, right? So our back end is a lot more robust than most people would see, right? Our back end, we have so much data around who are the owners in our market, who are the supers in our market, who are the tenants or the prospective businesses in our market. And we've been working on our own infrastructure around how to flag and match, right? So as a commercial real estate company, we're not the CBREs, the Cushmans, the Newmarks, right? The bigger entities that we can look, but we can compete just as aggressively against those entities because we have mechanisms. What is that? You guys close it. Look at that. Live is doing its own thing today. We have mechanisms that help us to not just clean our data, but be able to repurpose our data and be more strategic about who we're meeting, right? So I think every time we're thinking about things is we're not thinking about how we apply these things to us, but we're thinking about how we can apply these things to our customers, right? Small businesses, developers in this market, like how is it that these guys and these people can use data to decide what sites they should choose to develop on, to decide where a fitness client should put their studio because they want to impact and or get more of the type of customers they want to get. So like, how is it that we can help clients to increase or amplify their data, and then how can we have our clients use their data so that we can support their ends, or like where's that going? Obviously there are good and bad of having data. There's negatives of people's utility of data, but how does that look in the next 5, 10 years? Obviously there wasn't ChatGPT before, too accessible to the public before the last 5 years, and how has that changed how data is utilized or really put into a business? How do you guys are using ChatGPT? That's a data mechanism. That's a lot of data in chat that people are using to be able to operate and grow their businesses every day.
They I mean, I use ChatGPT for like minimum things from like just revising a little email or just, giving me a list of questions to things like give me advice on how to better approach a client. And the great thing about Chat GPT is that it's adaptable. In with time, it knows who you are and your personality, but not only that, it gets to know the people that you're surrounded with, and it forms kind of this profile on you. And just to answer your question is the next 5 years, I feel like AI is just going to be more customizable and more centered in personality, whoever's using it.
Yeah, I think we definitely adapt and use things constantly, new technology. ChatGPT, for example, I just used it to dispute a parking ticket I got. Yeah, it wasn't successful, but it made the process a lot easier. And I mean, obviously, a judge, you can have a perfect excuse. If the judge don't feel like letting you off, they don't. But that's besides the point. The point is, it was very like what would take 10, 15 minutes took like 2 minutes. All I had to do was say, here are the circumstances, here were the times. Create an argument for why this was the case, and give it a few specifics, just tweakers. So, in the next 5 years, the things you have to do, the things you have to explain, the things that you have to like make it personal are gonna just be that much more automated. Everything's gonna be automated. So it's just like I just have to plug in who, what, when, where, and why, and then poof, I'll have whatever thought piece I need. So for me, there's a lot of danger there as well, I see, because there's just the next step would be what does authenticity look like? How do I know when someone is just using ChatGPT to reply to an email, or using AI to reply to an email, or creating a LinkedIn post with AI, boosting it? We know how the premium features go, but then I'm like, what? How much are people's thoughts going into it? And then you have to wonder about like, where does the heart go? Like the ghost in the machine. There's a bunch of theories about like AI and like Skynet. Like there's a lot of thoughts of where it could go. Nah, not at all. I just see the pros and cons. I'm definitely here for the pros, but we shouldn't be unaware of the cons. That's it.
Mhm.
I think you're muted.
Yeah, is your mic off? Or
Oh, I was just talking and talking and talking. So sorry. What I was saying is that the utility of data and AI now coupled, obviously, as we were just talking about, can really like go to the next level. So I was sharing that I'm on the board of a not for profit, of a ballet school, and that the owner had run into a prospective operator that had created the mechanism to be able to start to train ballet students with AI, meaning you essentially put on these suits, like a lot of times where you've seen in the movies like Lion King, where it makes the movements more realistic to the characters. You would put on these suits. They would, have, let's say, 1,000 point movements of expressions, but it could cultivate and create, and then also train a possible ballerina on how to, improve their movements, how to, change their form, and it could correct them as they were doing at class. So now you go from the mechanism of having a ballet class of, you know, 20 students or 10 students where it's very intimate to now you can teach ballet worldwide to, you know, people in all different countries in all socio and economic environments without necessarily the elevated cost, because again, a lot of things have been prohibitive based on cost because people aren't able to access it. People aren't able to afford it. Now, with the data of obviously the mechanics of how to do, you know, a specific task, whether it's ballet, whether it's how to write a thesis paper, how to dispute a ticket. Now, if you have the data in your arsenal, how can you convert that data into being more usable for any business operation? Like obviously, we know Amazon has their hands in 1,000 different businesses, right? They're not just the bookseller anymore. They are now your food delivery operator. They are now your prescription delivery operator. You know, why? Because now they have the attention and they have the data of like understanding, hey, Cynthia bought, and you know, they also alert you of things you want. Hey, Cynthia, you bought this and that last month or 6 months ago. I think it's time for you to reorder it. And now it can create that consistency in consumers. And so small businesses anywhere, everywhere are able to now start to utilize that. Like, how is a small business, as a small business, what recommendations would you guys give to a small business who is starting and wants to grow their enterprise, whether it's a bubble tea company, whether it's a medical office or Medi Spa? How is it that they can collect data, store it, or repurpose it to be able to grow their businesses, scale their operations? How do you guys recommend, based on what you guys are seeing these days with our clients?
I definitely think that, like, as a small business, it's important, like we said, to know who your customer is, and then when you come in, feedback. What did you like? What flavors would you have wished to see? Where are you traveling from? What do you do? So you can kind of understand, like, the kind of person that's coming to you, what they face, what they might want, and then figure out a way to offer it if it's in line with you. If I have a bubble tea shop and I know that you like bubble tea, but then you also are a person who likes matcha. Now we have matcha flavored bubble tea, like, or we have something like that. Even when you come in, so a lot of places they'll offer Wi-Fi, but you have to put your email in
Yeah.
to get the Wi-Fi. Why do I do that? So that now I have the list of my customers' emails, and then now I can go pay Google Ads. So, like you said, I can make a like audience. I can find people that have similar addresses, or and now I have a list, and my outreach is again targeted. Now it's not just general. Oh, anybody in the world, we have bubble tea. Now it's you who have been here before and gave me money. I have more bubble tea for you. Like, now you're coming back. Like, that's what you can do.
And that's
That's what small business.
Starbucks mechanism, right? Starbucks basically, they know your orders, they know what you buy, they know what locations you're buying for, and they've become a bank because they want you to use your Starbucks reward membership to order as opposed to your cash. Because then it almost pretty much knows exactly what you want. It pretty much predictively tells you, hey, do you want to reorder your hot coffee order or your cold coffee order? That's great. Now, what do you think, Iliana?
Absolutely. I agree with Christian. Targeted advertising, knowing your customer base and targeting them. But not only that, also understanding the retention of it, like what customers are coming and getting those orders and what customers are continuing to come in. Like where's the retention in that? Personally, I feel like when it comes to marketing campaign, I agree with Cynthia as well. You should create your bank as a small business, your own data bank. We have a few chefs in
Yeah.
this live, even and Chef Ramshack. Hi. So, my advice to them as small businesses is understanding what people love your food, what type of customers, because not everybody's your customer, and creating your own data bank.
Yeah. So question, we're going to wrap up this part of the topic really quickly. If I said I would give you $100,000 or I'll give you 100,000 customers who buy your services, which one would you guys take?
The customers.
Yeah, duplicate
Okay.
that. Make more money.
So you'd rather the data on who's been buying your products and services as opposed to the money to bump around and find out. And so that's, I guess that really answers the question why Dad Ass came. So
Yeah.
Iliana, do you want to lead off the next topic? You were going to share on what you think we should be talking about today as our second topic.
As our second topic, my question to you guys is, how does personality influence your approach to building client relationship in commercial real estate? I asked that question because everybody has different personalities. People see commercial real estate as this amazing thing and a lot of money, but do you guys feel like you have to have a certain type of personality to be in this field?
I okay. I don't think anything in the world needs a specific type of personality, or I should say, no matter your personality, you could do anything in theory. But certain personalities or certain personality traits make certain interactions easier to navigate. So I think in a position or role like this, which is client facing, you're dealing with people from all types of spectrums. And I mean, whether it's who they are, their mental state, or their sophistication in a specific field. Um, the point is, you have to be able to adapt if you want to be successful and have an easy time about it. There's ways you can get over hurdles, but like for example, if I'm dealing with a client who is short tempered or doesn't read all of the emails or doesn't fully think about an interaction, you know what I'm saying? Like I I can react aggressively as well, or I can react in a way that is professional. Or if someone makes a claim that I failed to do a part of my job when I know I didn't, there's two reactions. There's, complete denial and then offense for feeling like someone attacked the character, or there is, I see where confusion could have happened. This is my position. You're entitled to your position, and we have these options of moving forward. So a different personality would handle it the first way, another personality would handle it the second way. But the stress level that you take personally is different based on your A or B choice. And so for me, I'm gonna always take the route of I'm not gonna take anything personal. I'm not gonna let this affect me. But don't get me wrong, you can only do that so much as a human being. So there's a fine line between knowing when to navigate something as this is a difficult interaction, and I recognize that we're not meshing well. Therefore, it might not be in our best interest to work together. Or there is some people who just will clash, and I don't care. This is my position. So both can have success in real estate. One success can come at an easier expense, or another person's success, they're perfectly fine with the chaos and the turmoil. So it's really what your personal decision is. So to answer your question, me personally, I like to take the route of amicable navigation, and then once it reaches a place, it's like we can't work from here, then that's a choice. But I don't take that person. Cynthia?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think when we're all growing up, we were taught to treat people the way we want to be treated, right? Um, I remember reading a book, I think it was called The Golden Rule, or Golden Principle or something, and it was saying that instead of that, we should treat people the way we believe they want to be treated. And that is actually a more effective way of handling a personality type. So, like for me, my first manager in real estate, period, Shane Kramer, a character of all character. But what I loved about him is I remember sitting at my desk and watching him interview clients and adjusting and shifting his communication to them based on what they would respond to. So I think a lot of times in business, people don't understand what's a more effective route to get your end goal or get the success or get the results that you want out of people. And sometimes it's not about you. And it's not just sometimes about being the bigger person, but being the more aware person around how to utilize things or utilize tactics to treat that person the way that they appreciate. Now, I am a believer on the other side of it is that can't fight crazy with sanity. You got to sometimes fight crazy with crazy. And so, when you believe that it is important, especially in a business dispute, we've obviously all had those, or with a client who may not, as Christian shared, like may not believe we did what we were supposed to do. Like you have to sometimes be strategic about communication so that people understand your perspective, but at the same time be clear and firm about your position and the expectations of how that relationship can be positive, because we're all human beings, right? We all came from different upbringings, different social and economic backgrounds, different lifestyles, and for us, like, how else do we want to navigate the future of our lives? Like for me, I generally would love to be on a beach with a margarita and a server bringing me a lunch, dinner, and breakfast. But I may not get to do that every day of my life. So because of the days that I don't do that, I have to work. And when I'm working, I have to behave and perform a certain way, and I have to be the personality type that to me is engaging. But I think also you can use your personality. So kind of like to finish that off, like you can use who you naturally are to get into rooms. I think the last mistake people make in business is that they try to form themselves into what they believe is the mold of and the expectation for what society has said is the vision of success. For me, when I first got into real estate, or I first got into consulting and I started my business, I remember I was working in a very corporate environment. So for me, it was, hey, you have to wear a suit to work. And those days I would come in with, I would go to, Marshall's, whatever the store is, and I'd get myself this suit. It didn't look good. It didn't feel good. It didn't whatever. And I felt like I had to be the robot in the machine that wore the suit because everybody else wore the suit. And over time, I realized that, hey, I'm a woman of color. I do love black. So that is what I'm going to wear pretty much every day. But like, I could also have some femininity to my look and not feel like I had to be a robot that had on this black suit or this gray suit. I can be feminine. I can be what my natural personality is, aligned with things that I loved, whether it was jewelry or it was color or hair or whatever. And I didn't have to be a carbon copy. As we know, we're 3 people of color on this call. We're in commercial real estate in New York City. Most of you guys do not know a person of color that is a commercial real estate agent, broker, or entity in New York City at this very moment. That is actually a huge benefit. What does that mean? It means that sometimes we can fall into spaces and we have a different perspective. We understand some cultural norms. We understand what's coming in certain aspects. Like me being, an age range that's a little above some of the other people on the call. I have a different perspective of, what to me is cool or hot, as opposed to Christian or Iliana, who come from a different perspective or a different upbringing. Obviously, Iliana grew up in Rochester, right? Christian grew up in Long Island. I grew up in South
Queens,
Jersey.
Queens,
Well,
Queens.
we're going to call it Long Island. We don't count Queens.
Crazy.
Yes, you grew up in Queens, which is a whole nother animal. I call it Long Island.
It's a good perspective to your point.
But again, like all of us come from different perspectives and all of us have different life experiences, the schools we went to, the way we found our way to commercial real estate, and our opinions about life. Like all of that to me is like our secret sauce, our secret ingredients that make us as brokers, and also that naturally attract our customers. As Iliana shared, like everyone is not going to be our client and everyone is not someone we're going to beg for their business, and there will be people that we will walk away from because we want to do things that make us happy and we enjoy. And that may not always come with a deposit. So there's a luxury in doing that, but then there's also a happiness and a reward in really doing things you're passionate about and doing things with people that you're passionate to represent, as opposed to just people that you're doing it for the economic profit of it, which is absolutely something some people do, and it's fine in some occasions.
Absolutely.
Any other
Yeah. I mean,
finalizing thoughts? We're coming up to 12 o'clock. Iliana, what are your thoughts about personality types in this business? Have you run into interesting personalities that have made it challenging to do business or be around in business? Or do you find that you're generally pretty much able to get along with
I'm
everyone?
pretty much able to get along with anyone. Of course, I've run into difficult personalities. And as Christian says, it's being adaptable. Honestly, I'm not short tempered. I've never been short tempered. I'm pretty chill. I'm not the type of person to force my opinion on others. I am a listener. I feel like in this field, in any field that you do, you have to be a good listener to understand people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just authentic you and adapt, and then the rest will flow. So as we approach the end of the live, I think thank you guys for taking the time and doing this, and thank you to our people who watch as well.
Yeah.
We'll be back next Tuesday.
Yes.
Yes.
And any closing words, Christian?
Nah,
Everybody's
new,
chill today. Everyone's like,
yeah. I would
oh,
say
it's too cold to
everyone
be
stay
excited.
focused in this new administration, and there's a lot of money to be made, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 100% a lot of money to be made. Like, all of us need to be creative. All of us need to go out there, meet new people every single day. That reminds us, February 5th, here at the VRG offices, we are having our first NYC Soup or Soup New York event. Um, this event is open to small business owners, whether you have a cannabis store in New York City, whether you have a bubble tea store, or you have a cafe, restaurant, or clothing store, even a gym. We're inviting you guys to come to our office to meet some of our partners, meet some of our clients, and meet us. Free alcohol and wine, free food, soup events starting in February 5th. And we look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday at 11:30.
Yes. Bye.
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 How do I end this live?